Greetings everyone, I'm your mortician back with another video just trying to spread some more knowledge and positivity on the death industry as a whole. Before I jump into this one, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Death over from Lockdown 23-in-1 for having me on his show just to kind of talk about what I do, where I plan on going with my channel. Really appreciate that. I've been getting a lot of love and support coming from his channel on the Instagram and the YouTube. I try to comment back to everybody in the comments and try to interact with you guys as best as possible. But anyway, a lot of the comments that I was getting on my video was just talking about smells and decomps and nasty cases, and there were tons and tons of comments. I'm going to cover all those in videos. But one of the ones that stuck out to me was actually a comment that hit only a couple nights ago. She had asked about my first decomp experience and how all of that went. So I'm going to talk about decomps for a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about two cases that stick out in my mind that may be interesting to you guys, and then from there we'll move forward. So starting off, I just want to go ahead and say that a decomped body, or a decomposed, or if a body is in decomposition, is basically just a body that's been left, nobody found. Maybe they don't have family members, maybe nobody called the cops, maybe they lived alone. It could be a bunch of different scenarios, but basically someone will sit for days, and it all depends on your state, your atmosphere, if you're in a car versus in a house, if you're in a house that has AC versus if you're in a mobile home that doesn't have AC. All of those are factors into how long, how bad, and how fast you can actually decompose. I've seen some people after 14 days look as good as somebody who just passed away 12 hours ago. But I've also seen people only 2 days in who look like they've been sitting there for 30 days. So it's all different scenarios, but basically your body decomposes. You have natural gases that are going to build up and your body's going to expand. Now, it's not like what you're going to see on TV. There's a current TV show that I reference where actually a few episodes ago they had to go get a gentleman who had passed away and who had decomped out of a mobile home, and they brought out all these crazy instruments to relieve the gases and all that, and that stuff typically isn't true. That's just for the TV factor. But basically, yeah, your body's decomposing, your gases are expanding, you do turn green, purple after a certain period of time, you're black, your lips will swell, your eyes will swell shut. Basically just typical factors of decomposing, which you could look up, so I don't go into too much detail. I don't want to deter anybody from the video. But basically, yeah, that's what's going to happen, and then obviously body fluids are naturally going to leak out. After a period of time, and certain individuals, like I said, everybody's different, but they can turn like a leathery feeling, almost like a just dried out leather. But anyway, yeah, so that's basically what decomping is. It smells really bad. Typically someone who does removals, or someone who's in the funeral home industry, like an embalmer. Now, different people have their different preferences, so I'm not speaking on everyone, but decomps are the cases that nobody typically wants to deal with. So basically two situations that have happened to me. I'll tell you my first decomp, and then I'll tell you one of the worst decomps, and I'll throw in a little extra one at the end. So basically my first decomp was, I was still very new. We went out to the middle of nowhere out in Florida, up in northern Florida, and there was a mobile home that didn't have AC. All the windows were shut. The guy was like 300 something pounds. He passed away on the couch. Nobody found him. No family members came to check on him, none of that. But anyway, so we arrive, and the cop, he's standing outside. I love all of our law enforcement, I do, but they don't tell you what you're getting yourself into when you become a cop, because you deal with it all. So I showed up, and we walked inside anyway. The cop's like, no, I'm not going in there. So we go in there, we take a look, and the guy is just so swollen. Now, another thing that happens whenever you decomp is you'll get these huge blisters. Like, they may be on the side of your stomach, they may be on your neck, they may be wherever. But there's just a lot of fluid that's built up in them. It's basically just loose skin and the fluid, and it's just a huge blister. And we go in there, and there's one massive one on his side. Like I said, he's like 300 something pounds. And there's a massive one on his foot. And down towards his foot, it's more black. Up here, it looks more like a regular blister that you'd get from, shoes rubbing or something like that. Kind of clear looking. So we step outside, we get our equipment, we come back in, and there's flies everywhere, just massive, massive flies. The amount of flies and maggots that come when a body decomposes is unreal, unreal. So anyway, so we go in there and we get ready, we put our body bag around the cot and we put it next to the bed or next to the couch, and we get ready to pull him over, and as soon as I just moved his foot, we have to put a ID band on everybody. So as soon as I moved his foot, the weight just pulled on that blister and just popped, and black fluid just started just constantly flowing, almost like a light, like you cut a water fountain or a sink on very, very lightly. That's exactly what it looked like, and it just flowed, and it was thick. And it was just blood, and like I said, all these natural body fluids, they come out. So anyway, so we go to pull the guy over, and as soon as we pull him over, all of this pops, and it goes everywhere. So blisters are a huge part of it. Purge plays a big factor in really any body, but decomps, really, you're going to deal with a lot of purge. Anyway, so decomps happen a lot whenever there's family members that don't really check in on each other, if you don't have someone checking in on you or calling you. So there's a situation that pops into my mind where actually two family members, I'm not going to give too much detail, but two family members lived on the same property. One had passed away, and the other family member had told that family member that passed away, if you die, I will walk around you. They weren't on speaking terms, they weren't doing good, they weren't happy with each other. Well, he ended up passing away, and like she said, she didn't care, didn't go check on him, didn't care that his car hadn't been moved, any of that. The cleanest guy that I have ever seen inside of a home, a lot of people will say, oh, you could eat off of the floor. You could make a sandwich on this floor. Like this sandwich, I mean, this floor was so clean, you could make the sandwich and eat it. It was immaculate. So, but when we got back to the back bedroom, he had been passed away for about 20-something days, so he was fully decomposed. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of maggots all over him. And the maggots had been in there for so long that they actually had eaten the mattress. So the mattress was like falling apart, chunks to the touch. It was just falling apart. It was insane. But anyway, so that was another decomp situation where just maggots had got a hold of him. That happens, maggots, flies, all kinds of things like that. But a third one actually that comes to mind, and this is kind of the basis around the video of what I want to kind of get at, is that this had to be the craziest decomp I have ever dealt with. Me and my wife, she was working with me at the time, and the medical examiner had signed off on the death certificate, or signed off on it, so there wasn't going to be any autopsy, any of that. So the doctor had signed on this one, so obviously it wasn't going to be an ME call, but my wife was working with me at the time, and we had to go get this gentleman, and the house was fully grown over. When you walked in, there was just stuff everywhere. He was a hoarder, and he was hoarding to the point where he had flat screen TVs and boxes that were unopened. He had microwaves that were unopened. He just had everything. I mean, he had a piano that was taking up like 3/4 of a doorway. The house didn't have power running to it. So on and so on. So basically what happened was this gentleman was about 400 pounds in the back of this hoarded house, sitting at a table up against a wall with a little bitty TV with all those flat screens unopened, with a little bitty TV, watching TV in a computer chair. And when he passed away, or he must have moved or something, but he had fallen and slumped over like this. And he sat like that for a few days. So all the fluid was just leaking and blood was coming out and all that stuff. So the first problem was getting him out of the chair. So because he was already decomped, he was green. Your skin turns real slimy when you decomp, and it's hard to get a grip on him. So we get him down, we get him in a bag, and then we have to take him all through this house without power, with hoarded stuff everywhere. We're moving a bunch of furniture. It's just me and my wife, and we get all the way to the stretcher. We get him on the stretcher, load him up, and then of course we went on our way to the funeral home. But that was one of the craziest decomps I had done, just because of the fact of the house conditions, and you have a hoarder on top of a decomp. But anyway, so decomps are, like I said, something that a lot of people don't like to deal with. A lot of people ask about the smells and what's the trick. The smell trick, or whatever you want to say, is just to breathe in through your mouth. You don't want to breathe in through your nose because you're going to smell it. You just breathe in and out through your mouth. slow deep breaths, whatever. But after you've done it for a while, this stuff's not going to bother you. You're going to go, and the smell's going to be just like any other smell. But decomps are the worst smell and some of the worst calls. Most people don't like to do them. So, but anyway, so that was covering decomps just for a little bit. I just wanted to touch on a few topics that I had and kind of what a decomp was. I have a lot more videos coming soon. This was one that I just wanted to hop on and answer that question directly to the woman who was in the comments section, and just kind of talk about a few of the decomps I've had and kind of the characteristics of a decomp. So I really appreciate everybody rocking with me again. I've been working on a lot of stuff, so I have bigger videos, I have better videos, and I have a lot of crazy things coming. So I really appreciate everybody rocking with me. And again, a big thank you to Death over there at Lockdown 23-1, and thank you for everyone who's hopped over. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a little sporadic, but I had a couple topics that I wanted to talk on about different cases. Just kind of give you a broad view, but if there's any questions, drop them in the comment below. If you guys have any suggestions or anything that you want, such as a live stream or anything like that, just let me know. I can go live on my Instagram, YouTube, wherever it's at. But anyway, I appreciate everybody rocking with me. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm your mortician, and until next time, I hope that you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.